very good day to all of you. How have all you been doing in the last 1 week? I hope all of you are still going strong and motivated, and looking forward, right, for the following week to come. Now, today our topic is basically it's on the hurting part, and as the title goes, it hurts to be a good leader. Now, the old way of leadership, it is always about how to delegate power, right? So a leader's main role is basically to disarm, all right, or to solve conflicts and to create confidence among their people. So by making employees feel good, they would actually give them the space that they need to perform well, okay? And the thinking goes, so this doesn't work anymore. Today, we live in a very different world, especially post-pandemic. It is much more of a mess than it used to be. Or rather, I should say it is very, very volatile, unpredictable, complex, and ambiguous, like VUCA, right? As that mess is called in business. So with that messiness, leaders need to learn how to deal with a lot more dissonance and a lot more discomfort than ever before. So today I would like to share with you guys, you leaders, where if you want to be a good leader, all right, there are 5 areas that you can't avoid. The first one, you cannot be a people pleaser. Now, if you try to make everyone happy, you won't last very long as a leader. Getting people to do things that they don't like to do, it is also a big part of the job description, right? Now, a leader's job is to make the best choices for the good of the company or their organization. So this will often mean that what they choose will make others, including those that they lead and those that they report to, unhappy. There will always be someone who does not like a course of action, or who will always feel that they are betrayed or sidelined. There will always going to be people in the organization who benefit from the status quo, or those who would be better off with the change. So those people who usually work to further their own interests. So a leader's job, basically, what they need to do, or what you need to do, is to set aside those interests and to do what's best for the organization, even if it means ruffling some feathers. So that's my first point. The second one is basically, you can't run away from this. You need to handle conflict. Welcome to the world of leadership. If you can't handle conflict, you have chosen the wrong line of work, right? Now, of course, conflict is unpleasant, but it is also inevitable and necessary. So leaders, you have to be ready for the conflict that others, like their employees, their higher ups or customers, are going to create. So they also have to be ready, right? Basically, you have to be ready to create conflict themselves. Now, this conflict will run from being slightly annoying to very painful. But as a leader, right, this is what you are hired to do. You need to handle it. You need to be ready for it. So look at Steve Jobs. Look at people like Elon Musk. All right, they are arrogant, they are rude, they are aggressive, right? So the opposite of what many leaders or leadership textbook, say. But aggression can be a good thing. Now, if you are not aggressive, okay, let me talk about this. If you are not aggressive, you are not going to change anything. You're not going to change the world, all right? Don't talk about the world. You're not going to change anything in your company. But this does not mean bosses, you guys, should treat your people badly, or you harass them for no reason. So people need to feel safe, of course. Right? They need to feel safe. And but the point is, what is safe enough? All right. So harmony and security are absolutely essential in an organization, but harmony can't take precedence over absolutely everything else, right? So the third one is, you're familiar with this, there's no comfort zone. Any change will create discomfort. So you can't lead if you can't tolerate pain. At some point, all good leaders will probably fail and have to betray others. So they will also be betrayed. All right? I mean, you have to be ready for that. So betrayal is defined as what? Being disloyal towards a group that you belong to. It can be a section, it can be a department, it can be a business unit, all right? It can be anything, right? So a middle manager belongs to a management team, but he or she also belongs to a department, right? So, let me tell you a classic case of a betrayal is, for example, when the head of a company, all right, like CEO tells a manager to retrench or to cut staff. Now, the manager's team members are obviously not going to be very happy about it, right? So above, there's pressure to cut staff. Below, there's pressure not to cut staff. Now, so this is really, not easy. So another familiar situation for a manager or for a leader is when a job demands longer hours. For example, you need to work overtime. You need to do, because of certain project. But then the family is at home and they want their husband, which is the leader or the manager in the company, to work less. So whatever the manager or the leader chooses, one side will feel betrayed. It's difficult to make both sides happy. So a good leader should strive to make decisions that are for the greatest good. But often, either way, there will still be pain for both the decision, right? For both the maker and those who are affected by the choices that you make. So there's no comfort zone. Now, the fourth one is you must be able to handle rejection. Now, when someone is betrayed, they often reject the person who turned on them in one way or another. Everybody knows people don't like to be betrayed, right? But leaders, you can't let that cloud, you can't let that to cloud your thinking, right? So you need, right, to be able to betray when necessary, quote and unquote, betray when necessary, without letting in the fact that someone will be hurt, to stop them from doing what that needs to be done. Right? You got no choice sometimes, right? So a good leader must be ready not to be liked and also to be rejected. So when you are rejected, you must accept it calmly. Let me remind that. Just repeat that again. When you are being rejected, you must accept it calmly. Many fruitful conflicts arrive, all right, when people feel threatened and they will put up their defense. So when managers or leaders put up their defenses, they can protect themselves from the discomfort, but they can also protect themselves from learning from a conflict. So a leader should be able to accept criticism despite the pain it may cause. So if they fight back without considering what the other person is communicating, they will basically escalate the conflict. On the other hand, they have to be able to give criticism without delivering it too harshly. If a boss delivers criticism too strongly, then the subordinates will get defensive and the conflict can become deadlock. So leaders, please, you must be able to think rationally and you must have control, all right, over your emotions at all times, especially when you are handling a conflict. The fifth one is basically you have no friends. Don't forget that you are not working to make friends. If you want to do that, probably you'll join a club or a non-profitable organization. As the boss, all right, your employees will want you to like them. That's natural. Who does not want their boss to like them, right? But a leader's job is to keep enough there must be a social distance so that your judgment is not clouded by so-called their perceived friends or enemies. Just because leaders need to be ready to handle discomfort and to create conflict as and when needed, that does not mean that you should preside over a reign of terror. You should not be always reigning by, terror, shouting or showing your, So if there is no trust among the team, then, it is difficult. So you must handle, then basically you will handle conflict badly and you will not be able to perform well. All right. So to sum it up all, we are living in a new era, as I've said, especially right now, post-pandemic. It is a real mess, and there's a lot of, there's so much more dissonance and uncertainty. Over time, this dissonance is only going to get more and more, and it's more intense, right? And we are feeling it with inflation going up, with the supply, short of supply and demand coming up. So there are a lot of issues. So as a leader, you are not paid to be comfortable. So you must deal with it. You must get ready to tolerate more discomfort. All right? So I hope you have learned something from this video as leaders. All right? It hurts, right? And this is very truthful. This is very true. So I am Philip Leong. I'm doing what I'm doing for the very fact that leadership matters because people matter. So stay safe, stay healthy, and be a blessing. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.